We're back. Our guest in this segment is a well-known Bedford personality, Jan van Steenwyck, who, from the looks of the shirt he's wearing, just won the Tour de France. Jan, what's going on?
That's right.
Jan's excellent adventure.
I have my yellow trophy on here.
Exactly.
Well, it was a Tour de France. It was a mini Tour de France. We biked from Copenhagen to Paris, and so I deserve a yellow shirt.
I think you deserve a yellow shirt. When did
Who's
you
we?
leave? Oh, that's true. Who's we?
We is my son. He's 50 years old, and we did the same trip in 1976. And we thought it was fun to do it one more time. We call this our anniversary. He's 50 years old, I'm 75, so you never know if I can do it next year again. So we planned this probably in April. Started to train. He had a tough time training because he has a son that's close to 6 years old at that time. And leaving the family behind, that's of course a tough one. But he did it, and so we took off mid-June in the hope that the weather would be great, because usually the weather is best in June in Europe.
Yeah.
Of course, this was the worst June in mankind
ever.
Yeah. So we started out on Sunday morning at 5:30, and we got outside Copenhagen in pouring rain. And then we had a hurricane coming this way, meaning that normally you do a speed of, on the flats, maybe 18 to 22, 3 miles an hour. We did 7 or 8.
Oh boy.
So after 4 or 5 hours, we were ready to give up. We didn't, we continued. So, and that's how it went every day. So the first day was a very slow day, did not many miles. But then it picked up again, and we got to Germany. This is a 5-country trip. Because we started in Denmark, we go across northern Germany into the Netherlands, through Belgium to the Ardennes, which is a pretty high climb, and then into France and to Paris.
That really is a Tour de France.
Wow.
That is a Tour de France.
A tour to more than France.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody respected us. We didn't get any medals. We didn't get
No
any.
cowbells
No, nothing like that.
So how far is it from Copenhagen to Paris?
Well, on the bike, it's close to 1,100 miles.
Wow.
So it's 1,075 probably.
And you did this in how many months?
10 days.
10 days.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, we
impressed.
set for 10 days, and we did it in 10 days. So the first time we did it, we actually brought a little tent. And so we set up our tent at night, but I said I'm getting too old for that now. In 10 days, setting up, finding a camping place and all that.
So you had reservations?
So no, you can't, because you don't know where you're
Well, I was going to ask how you managed that part.
No, we just, we start 5:30 to 6 o'clock in the morning. And then by 6:37, we found a place where we could eat something, or gas station, and got some candy, whatever. And then we just continued all day long and get some lunch. Again, simple lunches, of course. Nothing that was time consuming, and then on the bike again. And so by 5, 6 o'clock at night, we started to, it's very light at that time. The sun doesn't go down before 8:39.
Right.
So we could bike pretty long. And then we started looking for a small town we went to if there was a hotel. And then we looked at 3, 4 hotels and took the cheapest ones, because, save some money. And that's where we stayed, and the next morning we got up before they even started making breakfast sometimes. Sometimes they were so impressed what we did, so they had breakfast for us, and then, but we had a little bag on the back of the bike, so we didn't have much luggage.
Wow.
What'd you do for
I'm
lunch?
impressed.
No,
I don't know if they were impressed. I'm impressed.
And he lived to tell the tale.
That's
Well,
So-
it was the fortunate
Impressive
part.
Well, and you're still riding a lot. You said today you went out to Stowe and back?
Yeah, so I do my almost every day, not every day, depending on the weather also, but this kind of weather, I start early in the morning and do my 25 to 45 miles, basically every day. So.
Outstanding. So when you were riding from Copenhagen to Paris, what little things caught your eye? Jan is a very, very good photographer and has brought some photographs with him that are going to be pasted in here shortly. So do you want to tell us some of the photographs that you brought and little stories about them?
Well, I think I was not a good photographer on the road, because we didn't have the time. Well, we had a camera, of course. We had one camera, but you don't stop too many times to take a picture.
And setting up the lights is hell.
Yeah, that's right. Our big flashlights that we had with us. No, it was a simple camera. So we took pictures of things that we think we needed, like crossing a border, getting into Belgium, getting into the Netherlands, where there's a sign, welcome to.
Yeah.
Those pictures we took, and a couple of pictures on the road. We had one flat, my son had one flat tire, and I complained to him because he had it the last time too. one flat. So I said to him, we can't do this every time we bike a flat.
Well, and when he goes with his son, I wonder if his son will have the
Well, of course,
flat
the very
tire.
beginning, the very picture that you probably will see is we start in Copenhagen where the Little Mermaid, of course, is the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Sure.
And he wanted to be with us. He wanted to bike with us. So we took the picture with him in front of the Little Mermaid. And so he decided that when he's 10 years old, he wants to bike with us. And we said, well, you know, probably when you're 15. My son was 15 the first time. So we said 15 is probably okay. But then I will put a rope on his bike if I'm the third. He can pull me all the way. He wasn't so sure about that, but we laughed about that, of course.
Well, you know, there are people at Carlton Willard out there in their 90s who are riding their bikes,
I
so
know,
you never
yeah,
can
I
tell.
know.
It may not be such a long ride, but you may be
Well,
doing it
biking
anyhow.
is, believe it or not, the easiest sport. Because if you run, you know, it's hard on your body, on your knees, on your hips, everything in part of your body. Biking, if you race, I mean, if you really go a long distance like we did, because I agree, it's a reasonable long distance, then you just pedal. You pedal up. Most of the time it feels like it's going up. You know, it's always 10% up or 90% up. But when first you're in the rhythm, I mean, and you have trained, of course.
Yeah.
So you have trained for your saddle pain. So that's the main thing before you start on a trip like that. So you don't have to get off the saddle and have pain. And then the rest is basically biking and then have fun. So very often we could bike together on whatever bike path. In Germany and Belgium, Germany and the Netherlands, a bike path everywhere. So you feel pretty safe. It's a little bit longer sometimes, but very often they go along the road. And so you can bike next to each other and talk.
Yeah.
If you go to Belgium, it starts getting less and less also because it's so they don't have the space for a bike path. You go to France, they hate bikers, believe it or not. They rather see you go away, despite Tour de France. Well, you know, Tour de France last time. They throw nails on the road, they leave a dog out there, and that's how you feel when you're there. If you ask for directions, which we had done many times, because we knew from one big city to another, but you know, how do you get there when you're not on an autobahn? There are no signs.
Yeah.
And so we had to ask, how do we get from A to B many times? And in France, they look at you like you're a foreigner. Unfortunately, we were.
Now, I've never biked it, but I have driven that part of the world. And in the so-called Low Countries and even that part of Germany, it's pretty flat.
Yeah.
Once you get into France, especially as you start to get down near Paris, that's
hilly.
the end of your trip. That seems like that would have been the hard part of the trip.
The worst is Belgium, because you go to the Ardennes, and the Ardennes are more than if you go to the Berkshires here. So it's climbing. We had one point where there was a sign, a 9% climb, and it was 4.5 miles. Up.
And then
up,
down,
up.
down, down, down?
Yeah, for
But that's
200 feet, and then you go up
then
again.
you go up again. All right.
No, that feels like it's always going up. There's no, and if it's down, then there's so much wind, so you don't even feel that you
and it's
you
over
can
too
relax.
quick.
Yeah, that's right.
So next quick question. Was there a great reunion in Paris?
No, we had friends in Paris that we stayed with. So we found our way to the Eiffel Tower, got some pictures taken, and which was very funny experience, if I can say that in. So we get to the Eiffel Tower, and of course we want our picture taken. And so what do you do? Every tourist asks you to take a picture of me, and so we asked the same. So there's a Chinese person. So I walked up to him, could you take our picture? He didn't speak any English, but that's okay. So but he understood, you know, we gave him my camera. So he takes our picture and 2-3 pictures. And then suddenly they were with a group. So here show up 30 Chinese people, all wanted to take pictures of us and came to us and wanted to have a picture taken with us. So one of the Chinese person, the guy, he came up to us and asked if he could borrow my bike. And I said, borrow my bike? What do you mean? This is my bike. And I see this Chinese person that's about my height. But then I understood sort of what he meant. He wanted to be solo with the bike, probably telling his people home he biked to Paris or something like that.
Or that you had been in the real Tour de France.
Yeah, whatever. So we had fun with that.
So you are now about to become an internet meme, I guess, in China.
I'm probably on all the covers in China, yeah. I haven't seen the royalties coming in yet, but who knows? Somewhere in the drawer is a picture of us in China. That's right.
Jan, thank you so much for bringing
very
this to
welcome.
us.
It was a pleasure being
It's a
here.
wonderful what Jan did on his summer vacation. Jan's excellent adventure.
It sounds like great fun,
We had great fun.
and I hope you do it again.
And the best part is, of course, being with your son for 2 weeks,
Of course.
and being connected without everybody around you is disturbing you. So it's
Sure.
wonderful.
Lovely. Thank you for sharing it with us.
You're welcome.
And welcome home.
Thank you very much.
So stay with us, Bedford. We'll be right back.